Hello, Super Metroid fans. Hello, speedrunning fans. We are here back at you with the next chapter of our 30 years of speed. We're joining you today in the commentary booth for a 98% suitless run from mm2 cartridge. Just about to get started here in a moment. My name is Professor School. I am joined by, hey, just saw him a second ago in a race and he's pulling double duty. It's Mr. Guy Average. MGA, what's up?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, that 100% race was sick, and I'm excited for the next run here. 98% Suitless is such an interesting run. There's so many tricks and glitches that you've probably never seen in any other run. So, yeah, I'm excited.
It's going to be great. I'm so excited to share the things that has been pushing in this category. We'll talk a little bit about some of the contributions from other folks in the community. Kaizentum as well has been doing a lot. Hold on to your butts, folks. We're going to be finishing this game essentially just the way we did the last run, 100%. But we're going to be missing two items. What items are we missing there, MGA?
Well, through my skills of deduction, I believe we are going to be skipping Gravity Suit and Varia Suit. Am I right about that?
I think that that's correct. We'll just have to wait and see. But just imagine
Yeah.
30 years ago, you were finishing this game. Well, you weren't. I was for the first time, and we dang near sure could not get away with almost getting all the items. There was just no other way to get through the game. The notion of skipping a couple missile packs, sure, no problem. Maybe skipping a couple power bomb packs, yeah, okay. Major items, not having suits, it's a whole nother thing entirely. So sort of strap in, folks. We're going to have the normal sort of first 5 minutes or so of this game, and then we'll start to walk you through some of the action. But first, let's give you a recap of the category. This is on the extension boards. There's 13 times posted right now. We're hoping maybe we can attract some more attention to the category just by some of the awesome stuff you're about to see. Second place in the leaderboard, already mentioned them, Kazentum does a PDKR route, 1 hour, 46 minutes. Nice, efficient route. You should go check that out. And let's talk a little bit about mm2 cartridge here, MJ. He's got the world record in this category, 1:30:36. That's a pretty incredible time for 100% minus suits.
Yeah, definitely. 1:30:36. I remember when I tried running this, way back when MM2 had the world record with a 1:37. So he's really pushed the category down quite a bit, and it's really on par with like an RBO run or map completion or 100% run. It's only a couple minutes longer, so that's really cool. Like the level of optimization that this category has gone to.
Yeah, so let's think. We're going to see some pretty wild stuff. We're going to see Moon Dance. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to see some things that are very similar and reminiscent to aspects of Hundo and aspects of Reverse Boss Order, which we'll see an actual RBO run a little bit later today. We're going to see some really wild stuff. If folks don't know what R mode is, get ready for that because that's going to be exciting. Think about how you might collect Spring Ball without gravity. Not straightforward. There's a lot of cool tech here that we're going to dive into. So just strap in and enjoy the next hour and a half, roughly, and we'll try to walk you through it. Early game here, nice and simple. We're going to do the normal movement through about the first 5-6 minutes. And then things are going to get a little funky. If you've seen some of the more recent high-level RBO runs, you'll recognize Moondance, but I think I'll have you explain that when we get to that point, MGA. That's like sort of the first really big part
Yeah.
of this run.
Yeah, most categories always start out the same sort of, you grab missiles, bombs, morph ball. But I think what's interesting about this category is like as soon as you get out of Crateria, we're going straight into the hard tricks.
This will be one of the only points in the run where we have just a little bit of downtime, just because it's most of the expected stuff, as MGA pointed out. Just take a moment to shout out Shiny and Sassy and the crew. This is really excellent having this opportunity to celebrate this 30 years of speed event. I know there's a lot of folks in chat that remember bringing home this game that first month of release back in '94. I know I did, and Zos and Hockey talked about this a little bit during the last commentary. Just the open world nature of this game, how it breeds creativity in this community today. But even back then, I'd be curious to know your first experience with this game, MGA, because I know that I spent so many hours with my friends growing up trying to, can we sequence break? Can we get through without doing this? Oh, what's this room with this Ridley statue and all this acid? How do we get through it? It was just never-ending fun with the Metroidvania category that was created pretty much from this game. So I'd be really curious to know your first
Yeah,
experience with this game.
definitely. I think, yeah, I had a different experience compared to people who like play this on release since I am younger. I actually first discovered this game in a demo of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. They had all these like little demos of various games that the characters were from, and that's where I learned about Ocarina of Time. Yeah, you know, Super Metroid. They had like Super Mario World, I think.
Hmm.
And after I saw that game, I was like, wow, this game is really, really cool. Like, I want to play it, like, for realsies. So I actually got an emulator and I just started playing Super Metroid. And it was probably, it still is my most fun, like, the most fun experience I've ever had playing any game. It really is timeless. And the way the levels are designed and the areas, you know, progression is just so cool. And after that, I've just fell in love, and I've been basically playing it ever since I first discovered it in like 29 or 2009 or 2010.
That's a pretty cool story. I actually didn't know the lore there. I didn't even realize that there was demos of this and other classic games within. What did you say was Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Yeah,
Huh. Okay, I had no idea. That is really really neat. What a way to get into Super Metroid speedrunning.
yeah, definitely.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, here we go, folks. That first 6 minutes or so, as we promised, is underway. MM2 gonna just tank these hits on these pirates in sort of standard hundo or KPDR any percent fashion. We'll be running a KDRP boss order. If you look on the boards, it is actually hard to find two routes that are similar. Of the 13 times that are posted to the speedrun.com leaderboard, it is actually pretty wild how drastically different the different routes are. And you can only imagine if more people get into it that more and more ways to find your way through this category will continue to be developed. Even now in the green room, just a moment ago, the three of us, MGA, and I were discussing, other potential time saves and routing changes and efficiencies. So this is really a live category, if we can call it that. And I'd encourage people to go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah, part of the fun of running categories that are on the extension board is that it's sort of like the Wild West. That you can really get away with like any routing that you come up with, which is why it's like so interesting because when you have a category like 100%, the routing's pretty set, and you can like come up with your own stuff, but it's not necessarily going to be the most competitive compared to a category like this where you can come up with your own route and experience the fun of trying to piece all the puzzle pieces together, and you still can get like first, second, third place.
Yeah, I love that. I love that analogy. That's so good. All right, so here we go. Here's the item cleanup that we would expect here. We're coming up on our first major trick of the category. I think you're a little bit better qualified to talk about the specifics and details of this, MGA. Why don't you go ahead and give us an idea of what we're about to see here? I imagine that there's 300 people in the room right now with us. I don't know how many of them actually know about Moondance, but maybe you could
Yeah.
give us a sense of what MM is setting up here
So
with these funny bombs.
yeah, so basically the goal of this trick is to try to clip through some powerbomb blocks in the room previous. And in order to do that, we're going to create this very specific block pattern that you see MM2 has just created. And he's going to be doing a bunch of moonfalls back to back. And the way this works is that when you do a moonfall, Samus is actually put into a forced crouch position. And it's specifically forced crouch because for some reason the game gets kind of confused when it forces you into a crouch position, and you actually maintain your vertical velocity. So every time MM2 is like kind of spinning back and forth, he's gaining vertical velocity through moonfalls. And once he reaches a certain vertical velocity, he's actually going to clip out because now he's just going way too fast,
There it is.
just like that. And now he has like a stored moonfall, and he's going to carry it over to the previous room and unleash that moonfall and break through some blocks. That was
Nice.
a
That is a clean moon dance. GG MM2.
yeah, very very clean. That was extremely quick.
Very nice. Yeah, and if you go back and rewatch that clip at some point, you'll see also removes all the enemies from that room ahead of time. There's a couple things you need to do. You know, need to make sure you don't take knockback damage and or do anything that's going to cause you to lose that stored speed. You need to carry it into the next room so you can actually clip through those power bomb blocks before you actually get them. So pass the power bomb blocks to unlock power bombs. Go figure. That's the first major break of this category.
Yeah, getting power bombs early is really important because MM2 wants to do a lot of cleanup early so that he can have E-tanks and ammo for doing hell runs in Norfair, and then also going into Meridia.
What's actually interesting when we were going over MM2's run with him is rightly pointed out by MGA that you do need these the ammo and things that you're picking up for the crystal flashes. But actually, this route, the Moondance route, although faster, because of the way that you pick up items, a lot of the cleanup in this area is actually saved until later in the category, and as a result, you actually wind up in Meridia with considerably less ammo that you would otherwise have had if you do like a Fantoon first route. And as a result, this is actually going to be a lot tighter on resources going into Meridia. So just keep an eye on health and resources and the things that MM2 is going to need for the crystal flashes. This is by no means easy, and so MM is really depriving himself of some critical resources in order to speed up the routing. Of course, no Mission Impossible possible here. No high jump yet. We'll get a little bit of the cleanup here. Obviously, we don't have speed either, so we'll have to come back at a later point to hit up this waterway. You'll see different routes will actually do this cleanup quite differently and pick up all these items after Upper Norfair when you already have the speed booster.
Yeah, thankfully it's just a short detour because it's so close to the Green Hill Zone door. So we'll see that towards the end of the run.
Yeah, probably going on an hour from now or something like that. That'll be the final cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for you rando fans out there, here's a high jump bootless wave gate glitch that MM2 is going to set up. This is sort of one of the staple tricks.
Yeah, this trick actually works a little bit differently to other gate glitches you might have seen. It's actually a camera manip because the gate's off screen. The shutter is actually despawned, but the button that you can use to hit the shutter open is still there, so it just clips kind of straight through the shutter. You can hit the button with that super.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that bootless setup in particular, you saw MM use Moonwalk to back up against the wall and essentially do a little turnaround using the top of the door as a little visual cue there to get that super through. People disagree on whether it's easier or harder with or without high jump. You don't need the sort of more precise setup, but very nicely executed there from MM2. Nice rando strats. And then we're going to see something interesting here, which we're talking about late game implications as far as the cleanup. MM2 is going to pick up these pipe missiles here, and then we'll be going actually up Red Tower to take out alpha and beta power bombs now. Now, those are going to be really important for crystal flashes in Meridia, but it's also going to be, from a routing perspective, more efficient. You'll see that it's going to be kind of like an early Croc Hundo here similarity in with respect to how the cleanup is going to go, and we're going to have a very delayed gauntlet, a very, very late gauntlet at the very end, and because of the way that you route that bring cleanup into gauntlet, it really, really doesn't make sense to go back down that Red Tower elevator again. So we'll see MM pick up these alpha and beta power bombs again for the crystal flash and also for the routing efficiency, and then head back down into some hell runs or not hell runs. I guess the first boss is Crate, actually. Yeah, and then we'll do the hell runs. Yeah, and we'll actually have to keep an eye on health here as well. I'm forgetting myself. Not only do we have Crade before all of that, but we have what I like to call earliest X-ray, which is going to be on the way down Red Tower. You know, we saw 3 very different hundo routes just a moment ago from Zenny, Guy Average, and Smellin. We're going to get even a different approach here to picking up X-ray, which is going to be on the way back down Red Tower. This is again going to be similar to what you might see if you've played a little bit of rando and you've done that early X-ray strat setup from MM2, and the health can get a little bit tight. But it's really necessary to get that X-ray now, as you'll see, for what we referred to earlier, which is R mode, and we'll explain that in just a moment. But yeah, R mode is the next big thing coming up here. We'll need speed booster and X-ray for that. Maybe it's kind of complicated. I wonder if there's a good time for us to sort of start talking about it a little bit early. MGA, what do you think?
Yeah, for now, I think we can just talk about the requirements of this trick that MM2 is going to be doing at the end of the Norfair, first Norfair visit. So we're going to need reserves, and MM2 is going to be carefully watching how much health is going to be in his reserves, because he wants to fill it up to max. And then we're also going to need X-ray, which is why MM2 is doing this visit now, compared to any other time. And we're also going to need Crystal Flash ammo, so that's why we're picking up so many extra power bombs, supers, and missiles. And then we're also going to need, I believe, speed booster.
Beautifully executed early X-ray deboost there. No problem whatsoever. Very, very nicely done. Yeah, we'll need speed booster as well to actually generate some of the blue suits and other things that we'll need later. We'll definitely need ice, high jump, and grapple from Meridia as well, so we'll see a cleanup of those. Yeah, we're going to get some fun hell runs here in a second.
Yeah, a lot of complicated requirements. There's a lot that goes into, pulling off these tricks. But that was also a greatly executed return out of X-Ray Hall. These spikes actually do 60 damage, so without any suits, they really hurt. MM2 can really only make like 1 or 2 mistakes before he's in real danger.
All right, so another hurdle down, that early X-ray. Little bit Monka-esque there. You're down to under 60 health, and the spikes do 60, so very nicely done from MM2, getting us through there. And we'll do some pickup here. We'll have our Spazer and clean our way up through Warehouse, of course, not picking up the suit. So we're going to be leaving Varia behind. That'll be one of the only 2 items we leave behind in this run. And then some hell runs to get us ice, high jump, and grapple that we'll need for Meridia. And although technically a little bit faster to save wave until the lower Norfair exit, much safer and much more straightforward. As well as being more practiced in it. MM2 will be picking up wave during this next hell run as well.
Yeah, it's been theorized that because of the way hell runs work, it would be probably faster to skip wave beam, but it makes the rest of the run so much more complicated. You don't get it until basically near the end. So just to make things simple and safer, we're gonna grab wave beam.
Yeah, and so this will be reminiscent of going up Red Tower early in 100%, where you can actually clear all of Warehouse out now, so we will not need a Warehouse revisit.
Yeah, part of the benefit of having power bomb so early. This actually could be a little bit scary if MM2 misses the Crate quick kill, but he won't, because, he's an awesome runner, so no commentator curse here. See,
Nicely done. Nicely done. Yeah, and that's a nice nice version there. You lock that arm in the downward position, so no concern whatsoever when you are able to force super Crade like that. Of course, there it is. There's our first of 2 skipped items. Varia's suit left behind, just picking up the drops. one last item to collect here now that the Crate closet is unlocked, and then we'll be on our way down for some real fun. This is where things start to get a little bit wonky. We saw Moon Dance, and that was a little bit of a head scratcher for a lot of folks. But hold on to your butts, because we're about to get into some really fun stuff here.
Yeah, so if this is your first experience of hell runs, there's actually a lot of really, nicely placed farm spots for MM2 to find and kind of get his health back after going through a couple of heated rooms. So his main goal is just to, go fast as possible, find these farm spots, and then farm back up to full. Oh, he's gonna. Oh, this is cool. He's actually getting ice beam now. I guess it's. Oh, because yeah, he's doing this for the E-tank health refill because this area is heated. He can get a really nice refill with an E-tank because it brings you back up to full. And then with 5 tanks, he'll be ready for the upper Norfair hell run.
Yeah, and I think this probably does this route slightly better if you're planning on taking a safety save as well. I think MM is going to be taking a couple safety saves here before some of the more difficult tricks.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
You'll be right down there next to high jump, and you can save after having collected all these items. Oh, almost had it there. That's one of another one of those fun rando strats is that iceless ice escape. Of course, MM2 does have ice there, but tried to just wait long enough by moonwalking back to the edge of that platform. That tripper comes under you, and you can run out and make it through without actually freezing them. It's actually a really a useful rando trick.
Yeah, and there's that E-tank, very nicely placed for us to make these hell runs easy as possible. And now we're going to be entering the first hell run, or I guess ice could be called a hell run, but it was like a mini hell run, more like a heat run, I'd call it, But the main difficulty is going to be coming up with 3 rooms back to back, pre-Coliseum, Coliseum, and Rising Tide. A lot of enemies that hit pretty hard without any suits, and MM2 is going to be taking damage the entire time in these next 3 rooms that we'll point out.
Yeah, and there's the safety save we were talking about. The world record does not have any saves in it. It's a real butt clencher, but we're having a safety save here. We don't expect anything to go wrong, but it can't hurt to have it.
Oh, I said Coliseum and Cathedral. Oh yeah, MM2 also has to get this missile early, so he's actually taking a lava dive as well. A lot of health getting ticked away right now. Gonna make it real tight.
Yeah, even with 5+1 here, even with 5 energy tanks and the 1 reserve, it's really not straightforward. Things can go awfully wrong very quickly, and I think it's just a testament to the level of MM2 as a runner and just our community in general to be able to handle some of these things.
Ooh, nice.
It's a little tight here. Did make it through. Probably we'll see a little bit of farming here to be comfortable. You'd like to have a little bit more health than this.
Okay, turning off ice, good.
Yeah, this is a little tight, but I think MM can get it. Oh, and the little pause abuse. Boy, I'm not sure if that drop came in. Oh, there it is. Oh, let's go. Folks, get your hype into chat. A little bit of pause abuse. You saw Samus was ticked down to 0 health. But pausing into that screen so that Samus could collect those drops and get that health back in. What a way to save that MGA. That was just incredibly well done.
Really, really well done. Yeah, thankfully, when you pause, the game can't kill you yet. So we're able to abuse that and grab the drops while the fade in and fade out's happening. So that was really, really well done.
Incredible. I mean, and this is, we talk about this on commentary so often with these high level runs. you know what? Like, things didn't go great in the little bit of hell runs for between the safety save and Bubble Mountain. But this is exactly what a high level speedrunner is able to do: is find those backup strats, turning off ice, making sure to get through that one tile gap before the bug farm, using the pause abuse. I mean, that is an excellent way to save the run. We have the safety save, but why do we need it? MM2 just executing on a very high level, beautifully done there. Super hype.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a little bit tight coming back. Okay, good. A lot more farming up. So talking about that wave skip we mentioned earlier, it would probably be TAS only, but the reason why it saves so much time is because MM2 has to get all of his health back before he can go do that hell run. By skipping wave, we can avoid doing a bunch of extra farms, and potentially save an upwards of, I think, about 40 seconds. So it's pretty massive.
All right, so we already have a little bit in reserve now for the first time. We're really going to have to start managing health not until after Croc. That's when things are really going to get important for that R mode that we talked about, which is that glitched mode that we're going to use to generate a blue suit and keep it. But until then, here's our wave beam that we're about to pick up. We now have ice and high jump. We're going to go pick up grapple from behind Croc as well. Those are all going to be instrumental to the gravity-less, suitless runs that you're going to be seeing in Meridia. We're getting a little bit of these hell runs here in Upper Norfair. We're also going to have a gravity-less, suitless Meridia as well. So if you've ever played around with that, you know that it can be very fun and interesting movement. And then, of course, we're going to have some of the wacky stuff as well. But MM2 handling everything really nicely. As you can see, folks, it's, a lot of this is by the skin of your teeth. Even little things like there, what you just saw in that big single chamber and double chamber room. You miss one of those ledge grabs and you fall down. You're bleeding 5 or 6 seconds, but you're also bleeding health every single frame. And so really nicely done there, saving some time and health in those rooms. Excellently done by MM2.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're on our way to fight Croc, grab his E-Tank, power bombs, and grapple beam. And after that, I believe there's not really anything else that we're going to grab before Meridia. So going into Meridia with this item loadout is going to be pretty tough. We don't actually have as many E-Tanks or supers as a normal RBO run would have. So it can get pretty scary at times.
All right, let's see how friendly Croc is today. Pretty friendly so far. There's our first swipe only.
Yeah, that was really good RNG. Wow.
I think just one swipe. You love to see that as an early Croc runner in Hundo, I'm sure, right?
Oh, definitely. That would be very nice.
What do you get on average in an early Croc Hundo run over the course of your experience?
I would say usually 3 to 4 swipes, maybe a little bit on the lower side, maybe 3 swipes. So only having one swipe for that entire fight's really nice, because I think every swipe costs you 2 to 3 seconds. 1 to 2.
Nice little swag there. Nice little blue keep from MM2. If you noticed a keen eye just as MM2 was picking up that E-Tank over on the right side of the room just a few moments ago, set up sort of a very a precise trick, which is to shoot a charge beam sort of angled down and to the right to try to pre-open this door and then spark across. Every little bit of time save we have, we try to squeeze out of these runs. The way that those off-screen shots work is that there's copies of the room off-screen, and you can actually hit a copy of the door that is actually off-screen to your right of the actual door in the room that's actually behind you to the left, which is kind of a neat little trick that we use in a couple different places in a few different runs.
Nice, grabbing this missile first. There is a really cool trick you can do after getting grapple beam called Indiana Jones. I showed that off in the early Croc run, but it can be really difficult to execute properly because of how finicky grapple beam can be sometimes.
Mm. And pretty punishing if you miss it as well, right?
Yeah,
As
it's
far as
super
time
punishing.
loss.
Yeah, so it's high risk, high reward type strat.
Oh, just missing that fun mock ball underneath. We'll do the last little bit of cleanup, and then we'll farm up a little bit. We want to make sure that our resources are good for this next segment. The big thing that's going to be important for MM2 is prepping the ammo and resources properly for R mode. So essentially, in just a moment here, you're going to see MM essentially drain down his health to just at the point where an enemy would essentially deal damage that would trigger reserves, and then is going to do that in such a way that the reserves are triggered as you go through a door transition, and then you're going to be holding X-ray scope through the door transition in a very sort of precise way, and then releasing it at a precise time in order to trigger what's called R mode. So maybe we should talk about that because it's coming right up. MGA, do you want to tell us a little bit about R mode here and what exactly that is as one of our glitched modes?
Yeah, so the way R mode works, it combines the use of X-ray and going through a door. Basically, kind of tricking the game into thinking you're still in this weird transition phase. And because of that, you can do a couple of different things and manipulate the game because it's in a different mode essentially. The reason why it's called R mode is because your reserves are being triggered as you're going through a door. And then you can use X-ray to sort of escape the reserve trigger. And the game still thinks that that reserve is still being triggered the entire time that you're doing this trick. So you'll see MM2 execute it here. He is now in R mode, and he's actually going to have to crystal flash here because he is in a heated room and he's taking a lot of damage. And after he crystal flashes, what he's going to do is charge a shine spark, and he wants the shine spark to activate at a very specific time. You'll see him wind up here. And now, so what
Look at
happened
that.
was,
Awesome.
yeah, very well done.
GG's.
Now he has a blue suit, so I'm gonna try and break this down as best as I can. What he did was, in R mode, he charged a shine spark and did something called a wind up, where he's about to use his shine spark, but the reserves also triggered at the same time that he activated his shine spark, and the reserves actually take priority over doing the shine spark, so the game has to trigger his reserves, give him back his health, and that basically interrupts the shine spark that he was about to do and gives him a blue suit for free, because the game is like, oh, I'm sorry that I actually just like completely interrupted what you were doing. Let me like give you something back in return so you don't feel bad. And now we have a blue suit, and we're going to be using that blue suit for the entire time we're in Meridia to break speed blocks. But since we don't have gravity suit, we can't normally break them the way you would do in a 100% run. So this blue suit is actually extremely important for this run, and first try is very, very nice.
Yeah, it's required to get that speed locked item there. Folks, what you just saw from end to end, from the R mode, getting in that room, triggering it correctly, executing to actually get that forced stand, to get that blue suit. And then we had to talk about the R mode, which was so critical that we didn't even have an opportunity to talk about that beautiful Main Street climb from MM2, using that ice to get all the way up to the top of Main Street, with the added complexity that with that blue suit, if you touch any of those enemies, you kill them, and you actually need those enemies to climb the room. So as if climbing Main Street wasn't tricky enough, now you need to be able to do it without touching any of the enemies, or your blue suit will kill them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually doing Meridia can be a little bit more complicated than RBO because of uh, the way Blue Suit works. You want to keep the enemies because they're very useful for you for traversing Meridia.
Funny that you see that blue animation only when you're outside of the water. You only have the echoes when you're inside of the water, and that's the indication that you still have it.
Oh, that's gonna be tough.
Oh, it's not a great backup if you miss that grab with
Okay,
grapple. But way to get back on top of Mama Turtle. Holy smokes,
great.
that's normally a room reset. Oh my goodness. Nicely done. MM2 clutching out another big save.
Yeah, that was potentially very scary because Mama Turtle can do a lot of damage. And you can still take damage as Blue Suit if you're not moving. So, yeah, being able to avoid taking damage there is huge.
Yeah, I have a little notepad in front of me after my chat with MM2 about this run, and I have a quote here from him. Quote, "There is no good backup if you whiff on the Mama Turtle E-Tank grapple. You just have to reset the room and cry." And you know what? He did not reset the room. He hung in there and just clutched out a really, really tricky backup, and no less in a showcase situation. Really, really nicely done there. Samus echoes flying all over the place. If this doesn't look totally up to code for you folks who are used to a more sort of vanilla approach, you are not alone. This is some wild stuff that we are seeing here. Okay, and this is kind of an important decision here as far as how MM2 handles this. There is an item that you'd normally pick up just to the right there, a missile pack. But in this case, you need to freeze that fish in order to find your way up into this area to the left. So you just go ahead and freeze that fish now. You don't risk killing that fish with your blue suit because that would be pretty bad news. You pick up these items and then you clean up that missile pack on the way back out when it's when you no longer need to freeze the fish to come up.
Yeah, so as some people are mentioning in chat, you can't lose your blue suit by dashing when you're underwater, but when you are out of the water, MM2 cannot hold dash at all, or you'll lose this suit, and we'll still need it for a lot of other sections. So, in this dry area of Meridia, MM2 was forced to walk around.
Yeah, the only thing speeding you up are those arm pumps pushing you forward 1 pixel every time Samus changes that arm pose. Yeah, and here now we'll see the pickup of this item. Of course, the other place MM2 needs to be careful is every time you see MM2 crouch here, what you actually do is you get forced 8 pixels further up from a crouch jump, so you get a little bit of a higher jump. But what that does is similar to initiating the charge for a shine spark that you would do normally. And then at that point, you have to be careful, of course, also not to press dash because you can then use your blue suit through that flash suit that's going. So many places here where MM2 needs to be very careful with this setup. And here, of course, you're going to see, again, a most unusual way to pick up these aqueduct items. Most people come in here with gravity, with high jump, with speed, and they just speed booster through these blocks. Here, MM2 is going to use very precise manipulation of this snail. Nicely done. Yeah, very nice. And then does a little bit of wall jumping back and forth, breaking those speed blocks, not falling all the way through to the bottom. And grabbing both of these items. Brilliantly executed there. Super sick. That snail positioning is actually quite precise. The snails can be a little bit pestery and persnickety. So really nicely done there from MM2.
Yeah, definitely. The way these grapple jumps work is with the grapple swing, you have a little bit of upwards momentum. If you morph and then unmorph, the game puts you into a crouch pose for a little bit, and you can actually abuse that crouch pose and jump because the game thinks you're actually standing on ground for a little bit. And then we just, sort of combine all those together. You can chain as many grapple jumps as you want.
Yeah, you saw MM2 just effortlessly run through those speed booster blocks again using that blue suit. Oh, and almost got the one round on the hard bad pattern. That's actually something that I haven't made many contributions to this game, but I put out a video a couple years ago that allows you to do a one round suitless on all 4 patterns for Batoon, and it's that upper pattern that if you're doing RBO or DPRK or one of these suitless categories, it can be a real pain in the butt when you get that top pattern. And so what you saw MM2 do there was actually to charge a shot and jump across the top of the room, preempting that shot to hit Batoon, which is the equivalent of a super. And you can get 9 supers in and actually one round that top pattern. Got just a little bit short on some of those last supers, but cleaned up the fight very, very nicely. Very well done there from MM.
Yeah, that was a very, very quick fight, especially suitless. This fighting Batoon is so hard. And so you actually saw MM2 also running across sand. What's interesting about sand in this game is actually it doesn't check how fast you're going. It just checks if you have echoes or blue suit or not. And since we have an artificial blue suit like this, we can just walk across it and like nothing happened.
Shave haircut there. MM2 getting very, very high. That was pretty incredible. So you saw MM carried that blue suit for about as long as you'll see it carried in almost any category, and that is a pretty good place to use it. So we'll get that safety save, but a beautiful blue suit turned into the full halfie, and now you see just a little bit of health train there as we set up effectively the equivalent of our RBO Dragon fight suitless. Some more funny stuff about to happen if you have not seen an RBO Dragon fight. MJ, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what folks can expect from this very interesting and different boss fight than what we just saw in the 100% runs.
Yeah, so fighting and beating Dragon is actually really easy in RBO and Max Suitless because you have grapple beam, so you kind of just can wait for the goo to grab onto you and then you grapple kill and have some fried shrimp for dinner. Unfortunately, though, the difficulty comes from trying to get out of Dragon's room. So what you're seeing right now is MM2 is actually damaging down his health because he's going to be doing a Crystal Flash here. And if you Crystal Flash when Dragon grabs you, you actually get moved from your initial Crystal Flash position, as you'll see here. And similar to what
I think what happened there was
interesting.
yeah, so sorry to interrupt, but what happened there was we had a little bit of a late power bomb drop, it looked like, and so as a result the power bomb actually cleared those all of those goop particles from the screen, and by the time the goop was there, Dragon was already overhead, didn't grab MM2, and this is a not an uncommon way to die in RBO, which is kind of unfortunate, but we have our safety save, not a big deal, and gives gives us a little bit more time to explain how we're going to get out of this room. Sorry to cut you off, but please continue, MGA.
No, yeah, that was really unfortunate. We need the goop to actually grab us for that trick to work. And I guess when the goop is on screen for too long, it deactivates, right? So, but yeah, essentially, similar to how the R mode blue suit works, this game really doesn't like it when you kind of interrupt things that it's doing. So with the Crystal Flash, we get moved, and that kind of interrupts it when Dragon grabs us. And because of that, the game's like, oh, sorry, we moved you. We shouldn't have done that. So we're just going to give you a spike suit for free. So let's see if this works. Okay, great. So now MM2 does get a little bit of health back, thankfully, because the Crystal Flash was going on. But it got interrupted, so we got a spike suit for free. And now MM2 is going to kill Dragon and try to turn that spike suit into another blue suit. And very nice. Very well executed. That was a great
GG's.
Dragon fight.
Very, very nice fight.
And so now to get out of Dragon's Chamber, we're going to be doing a couple more grapple jumps. These grapple jumps are actually a little bit more difficult due to this weird corner block that you're going to see. So we actually have to bounce off this corner, and the window to do the grapple jump's a little bit tighter than most, but very well executed. First try.
Beautiful.
And now MM2 is going to be using this blue suit to escape. And he has to make
Gotta
sure
be a little bit careful here.
Yeah. Grab these missiles. Don't want to fall back down.
And that's how a new copy pasta is born, folks. Very important to get precious missiles. Not only important for every 100% run, but important for every 98% run, or max suitless run, as we might call it. Yeah, and filling up and on health, and then getting the safety save in here. Really, really, really nicely done. And all right, we have some more interesting stuff here still in front of us. We still have the big issue of some of these items that we need to collect suitless. In particular, Spring Ball. But in the route that MM2 runs, there's something else. Is that he is gonna go down? It's faster to go down right sand pit before left sand pit, and as a result, that means you're doing right sand pit before you collect Spring Ball. And the reason why that's relevant is that normally you would just use a Spring Ball jump, gravityless, in order to get up to the power bomb pack that's hiding there in the right side of right sand pit. MM2 is not going to have that option, and so before we can even get to the explanation of how you get Spring Ball suitless, MM2 is actually going to need to do something else entirely, which is some really, really cool underwater wall jumps here in order to grab that right sand pit item.
Yeah, so contrary to popular belief, you actually can wall jump underwater in this game. But it is super counterintuitive and pretty much the opposite of how actual wall jumps work outside of the water. As you can see, like the way Samus spins and jumps around underwater, she has a lot of momentum in one direction, and if you try to change directions, you actually have so much momentum that you're going to get dragged to the same direction you were spinning, even if you turn around. So, what MM2 has to do in order to make these underwater wall jumps work is actually tap. What he's going to do is, so the way normal wall jumps work is you just do left, right, left, right, left, right, and wall jumping with A, or whatever button your jump is. For underwater wall jumps, MM2 has to do left, right, left, or right, left, right. And by doing that, he can kind of cancel the momentum that he has to one direction and
wow, look at that.
So yeah, that was really well done. Those wall jumps were
that was so sick.
Quick.
Yeah, so you could see that really, really beautiful boomerang motion. It's very counterintuitive, but actually this is something that Eddie and myself and a few other runners actually started training on controller recently for Rando League. And so this is played on keyboard here, and on keyboard and hitbox it is a little bit more straightforward, but it is absolutely a doable trick. Especially those sort of very short degree of underwater wall jumps. It can be done on a controller, standard controller. It's just a little counterintuitive because you really, as MGA pointed out, you have to sort of fight your normal trained mechanics of wall jumps to get that boomeranging action. And yeah, MM2 just absolutely crushed that there. Beautifully done.
Oh yeah, so we should actually probably talk about how to grab spring ball. So this is actually going to be really difficult because we're going to be in a morph tunnel, and bombs don't usually work underwater. So we're not going to be able to bomb jump up to get spring ball. So what we're going to have to do is the reason why we got X-ray in the first place. Um, Basically, what MM2 is going to try to do is do an X-ray turnaround and then cancel X-ray while he's turning around. And the reason why that's important is because it forces Samus to stand up. Once Samus is forced to stand up, MM2 is actually going to be doing a spin jump and then clip into the ground. And after he clips into the ground, what he's going to do is pause. Okay, very well done.
Wow.
There you go.
Before, I mean,
Yeah.
that was so clean, as
So cool.
clean as you could possibly do it.
Yeah, that was extremely quick, very clean.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So what he did was he clipped in the ground, and then now that he's in the ground, he MM2 has space to jump. So he's gonna jump and then try to morph as quickly as possible. And usually, you only have a few frames to do it. But the reason why MM2 paused there is to buffer an extra down press, and by doing that, you can morph extremely quickly. And get into that morph hole very, very quickly. And that was just really well executed.
Yeah, and a tricky exit there too, with those little space jumps into the quick morph. It's about as fast as you're going to see that room done. That was really, really nice. That's what's called an R jump, not to be confused with R mode. This is the R here doesn't stand for reserve. It's actually a term that was coined essentially because you need to use an angle there. If you go back and watch that clip when that first crouch jump was executed, you'll see MM2 holding an angle button, either L or R on a standard controller, whatever he has it mapped to on his keyboard. And what that does is it actually cancels that normal 8 pixel elevation that you get out of a crouch jump. And then, as MGA explained, you can buffer some inputs to make that a little easier to get that quick morph. Yeah, and then you clip up through that floor. You do it a couple more times, and boom, Bob's your uncle, and you got yourself a spring ball.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. MM2 is showing off a lot of these tricks like first tries if they're nothing, but these tricks are very, very difficult to execute. It'll take you hours of practice to try and get some of these, so he's doing this very, very well right now. He has to be careful not to hit those little beams that the pirates are shooting out, though, because his health is a little low. This could be kind of scary. And MM2 is actually going to be doing another underwater wall jump. The way this route's working out, we want to mirror it exactly how the normal 100% route works, since that's the fastest way to do the Meridia cleanup. But the issue is because we're underwater, we can't just space jump out of the alley, so MM2 is going to have to do a couple of underwater wall jumps here to get out of the water. Oh.
Well, here I think it's better. Yeah, it might just be faster to reset the room and jump, just freeze the cac and jump off it. I think that was just a double plasma hit accidentally is I think what happened there. Yeah, this is just an easy down grab. With the underwater wall jump, this is the one that I think people who are doing it on controller in certain rando modes, this is where it has the most benefit, because you can save a lot of time in some routing by being able to come here. In this particular route, in this particular category, this saves about 15 seconds if you get the underwater wall jump first try. And having space jump makes this particularly straightforward. As you see, all MM2 needed to do was 2 or 3 quick underwater wall jumps to break above the water, and then having space jump equipped, you can then mash jump to continue to get yourself out of the water there. Really, really nicely done.
Yeah. Thankfully, space jump does work. As soon as you get breach water, even though you're kind of like in it still. As soon as you see the animation of the space jump spinning, you're able to spin jump, which lets you get out of that water.
I find this all very satisfying. Not only do you get these incredible tricks, but with the underwater wall jumps and the way that this Meridia is laid out, it routes so nicely, as you pointed out, MGA. Just very similar to sort of a nice cleanup in Hundo. So it's actually really satisfying to see how this
Yeah.
run comes together.
Yeah, for instance, if you didn't do those underwater wall jumps to sort of mimic a 100% route, you actually have to go all the way back around the entrance to Meridia, like the beginning of how this underwater suitless Meridia started. And that loses you about a minute, if I remember correctly. So it's
Yeah, it's a huge difference in time. So it's about a
yeah.
minute for that routing, and then another 15 seconds for the second set in Cack Alley there. Of course, the one unfortunate thing is you don't get to take the choot shoot. No choot shoot riot for hockey here. Shout outs to hockey for I think maybe I don't know when he coined that, but that's the first time I ever heard it in the last commentary.
Rip the choot shoot.
The choot shoot riot, baby. All right, well, we got one really big thing left. We got a little bit of hell runs before, not baby hell runs. They were pretty difficult, but we're getting into some even more serious hell runs here. We're going to be doing the entirety of Lower Norfair without either one of our suits. No Varia protection, no heat protection, no gravity, no damage reduction. This is essentially going to be like an RBO Lower Norfair, but with a little bit of extra resources. So we'll see some really serious RBO in just a little bit here later in 30 years of speed. But we are going to get a non-trivial RBO here. And of course, the big difference is, unlike RBO, which is just going to be picking up screw attack, this RBO needs to full clear Lower Norfair. So like RBO, but with a little bit more resources plus the extra item collection, certainly not free. So we'll get this part of the cleanup here first, pick up those crumble shaft missiles, and then make our way down and across to the LN elevator.
Yeah, since the difference between an RBO run and this run is going to be collecting all the items, so even though MM2 has slightly more than a normal RBO loadout would have, all that extra pickup's gonna bleed a lot of health and resources for him. Oh,
Whoops! Oh boy.
all right, quick recovery. Yeah, so actually, when you when you use speed booster during a hell run, the sound cue for some reason interrupts you getting your blue suit, the palette change. So what you have to do there is actually let go of dash as soon as you get your blue suit. Or the sound cue that I'm talking about is actually because you take damage from the heat and Samus makes like this kind of hurt sound, and that interrupts the blue suit that you have and takes it away from you. It's very rude.
It is very rude. How dare that game?
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll show it. We'll beat it without collecting any of its silly suits. Who needs them?
Yeah, we'll show this game. We'll show you.
All right. Non-trivial lava dive. You do have high jump and a bunch of tanks, but nicely set up there. Getting that first big jump to manipulate that that Namahe to shoot that that fireball out, and yeah, we're through to the next safety save. we'll see MM2 get on this elevator and then take a crystal flash to recoup his health right on the other side of this. Needs to be a little bit careful in this next room after the crystal flash. There's those alcoons that are sitting down there in that lava and can make this a little bit tricky here. Okay, yeah, just setting up the CF here, and in the world record, if you check it out, there's a pretty Monka-esque moment where MM2 actually goes over to the left to set up that crystal flash first, and starts getting hit by Alcoon pellets, and it's pretty scary. And you do not want to drop that blue because you do not have screw attack. Yeah, nicely executed there. Just coming up on the 1 hour mark, and we are still executing at an incredibly high level. mm2nescartridge just taking us on an absolute ride through this game, Suitless. Beautifully, beautifully done. Mentioned an MM2 quote before when he was talking about this route and we were going over it. Here's another one for you. I asked MM2, what level of RBO is this? MM2 having very good times across a lot of different categories. And despite it being very difficult, he sort of jokingly called this sort of sleepy RBO.
Thankfully, though, with Plasma Beam here, the GT fight is basically free. So M2 will be able to save a little bit more health, conserve it, and be able to get the health refill in time. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, he's good. He's got a lot of supers, a lot of power bombs too, so this is looking like a pretty good LN so far.
Yeah, nicely done. Getting in there without blowing your reserves. One of the first major hurdles pass is doing that normal space jump required loop to pick up those that GT missile pack. And now things, well, they're not free, but they're certainly a lot easier. You feel much better having that screw attack. That's pretty much it for the big tricks at this point. We will see a couple more crystal flashes and some health and ammo management, particularly in the Ridley fight. You will not see MM2 blowing all of his supers, as you saw perhaps for some of our runners in the 100%. Got to continue to manage those resources carefully until these hell runs are over. And that's going to really be just a matter of execution. So the big crazy tricks are pretty much out of the way as far as the glitches and some of the wacky underwater movement. But we're going to have some pretty high level execution here for this Suitless LN. Nicely collecting those Mickey Mouse missiles without falling back down and around. Excellently done. And here we can actually talk about one more potential routing efficiency addition, let's call it that. So here you're going to see health is ticking down pretty low. And what MM2 is going to do, just missing that nice fast morph strat across the room. Going to come down here and pick up this Firefly tank. Just get the full refill now and save the second CF until after Ridley. There is actually a nice routing efficiency addition you can make here by using 2 CFs, getting up to Ridley, and saving the door transitions coming down to this Firefly tank until afterwards. It probably is about a 10-second-ish time save, which is not insubstantial. And MM said that, if he comes back to this category to push for, a 129 or an even better time, that's something that he might consider. But for now, just go ahead, grab that E-tank, and save on nice full health here without having to dip into any of your ammunition for those crystal flashes. MGA, I'm curious, you've run, like MM2, a ton of different categories, both sort of the standard major categories, also a ton across the extension boards, which you, I think, very rightfully called the Wild West. Where does 98% suitless stack up for you when it comes to those categories on the extension boards?
Yeah, I mean, with the limited experience I've had with it, it's such an interesting category because of all the different types of crazy suitlet tricks you have to do to get these items without any suits. But yeah, I mean, I'd say it's probably one of the most interesting, like top three for me in the extension categories, next to something like Dashless and what's the other one? Wait, why am I blanking? Oh, GT Max. Yeah. So I would say that's probably like my top three extension categories at this point.
You're right. Free the Decora RTA is the best
Yes.
category that you could run on the extension
Wait,
boards.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, MGA, and I would never imagine anyone saying anything other than that.
No, no one could slander such a beautiful category such as that.
Yep. Well, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that we talked about it with the one of the former world record holders here in the commentary booth with me, and potentially also the creator of the category. I'm not sure. I think I may have come up with it, but I'm sure people have raced something similar before. But at least I was the one that cut the video promo for it. And dang it, I just can't help myself, MGA. When it comes to promoting Free the Decora, I just want that bird to fly free.
Yeah, I definitely dropped the ball on that one. Guys, run Free the Decora RTA. It is the best RTA category, extension category, even main category you're ever going to run in this game.
Oh, that's my guy.
And
Got my back now.
on top of that, it's environmentally friendly, okay? We care about animals. So if you care about animals too, run the category.
Really, really beautiful Ridley fight there. No problem whatsoever. Good manipulations, very clean. And then we get that free refill on the backside. Excellent, excellent stuff from MM2. I have to say, I have not run this category, but I did spend a considerable amount of time this week, not just prepping notes and watching MM's run and a couple other of the runs in the leaderboard, but what I wanted to do was make sure that I could actually execute all these tricks. And so I went in and I practiced the underwater wall jumps and the R mode and the spring ball jump suitless. Folks, I am no top level runner, but I've been running long enough that I have the ability to execute some of these tricks. And I'll tell you, it's not free. The stuff that you're seeing on top of the suitless movement, on top of the hell runs, these tricks are difficult. And you're seeing MM2 execute them. Gosh, I mean, pretty much all of them were first try. We had a couple really beautiful backups there throughout the course of this run. We had just the one death to Dragon, and really that was just like a couple frames of execution, you know, with a slightly late powerbomb lay for the Crystal Flash. This has been a really, really excellent showcase of one of the more obscure but really cool categories of Super Metroids. I mean, just incredible stuff from MM2 here. Last little bit of cleanup in LN. We have enough ammunition here for another Crystal Flash, which we'll probably need before we escape the final time. We're almost through it, folks. Almost through it. Turian is just a little bit of a hell run and a cleanup away. And then MM2 can enjoy the fruit of his labor. Oh, I like this. This is very smart. Yeah, just a nice and safe here. Take this extra damage. Down to 20 health, and we'll just go ahead and CF right here, not in a heated room. You'll see it in the world record. Another very scary moment is actually MM2 going all the way through this room, past the setup point for the Hoda Ruby special, and then into the Franker Z room here, and actually Crystal flashes all the way to the left just here. Pretty scary. In this case, did it nice and early, no worries whatsoever. Picks up these Franker Z missile packs hidden away, and we'll be through these hell runs in just a moment. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Little bit of cleanup here. Hell Run's not quite done. We are out of LN. One of the things that this route does, which actually Kai just pointed out in chat correctly, is this little Hell Run just at the end for cleaning up this Upper Norfair Reserve. It's not straightforward, and having it at this stage of the game where you're just after finishing LN, it makes it pretty tight. So this is really, really nicely done here. And I'm not having any problems. Space jump helping a lot, but you do have to be careful not to stop in this acid. Without gravity, you can get sort of scooped up by that acid, but gets out without issue. Nicely done, nicely done. GG's. Oh, beautiful. Laying that power bomb, using the spring ball, getting the D-boost across. That was really, really nice.
Yeah, that's such a nice strat. So fun to execute and so cool to look at.
Yeah, Hockey was saying it's his favorite D-boost in the game. I would have to agree. That is, it's certainly one of the prettier looking ones that you can execute.
Definitely, yeah. And at this point, I'd say M2 is probably safe from death. Aside from maybe some, unfortunate events in Turian. But yeah, so we're basically out of the tough parts of the run, and now it's just time to execute with some pretty tough strats in Brinstar cleanup and also in wreck ship. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch for sure. Again, leaving behind just those two items, the two suits, and yeah, we've got just a little bit of run left here, about 20 minutes or so between cleanup and Turian. But this is not the end of our day. We've got a really, really incredible lineup set for you today here at Super Metroid 30 Years of Speed event, hosted by Shiny and Sassy Zenny. Coming up next is going to be Open Doors 138%. We've got some more major glitches coming at you around 5 o'clock Eastern with Kill Croc's Tongue. As I mentioned a couple times, reverse boss order, a couple different low percent routes and races, GT Classic, and then closing it out with an any percent community race. Folks, we've got an awesome schedule lined up for you today. Sit tight and enjoy. We've got a whole full day's worth of Super Metroid speedrunning action and showcase coming your way. Thank you, chat. Oh, no, that's not the schedule we were looking for. That's okay. There we go. Yeah, and that any percent community race, which is going to be later on tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern time, that's open to anyone. So if you've run this category and you want to come in and participate, this is one of our long-standing traditions of these any percent races, and we'd be happy to have folks join us and play along. Nicely executed there in this Blueburn cleanup. I think Zost pointed it out. This is definitely one of the trickier sections of any sort of 100% or 100% adjacent cleanup. There's a lot of very technical movement that goes in here. Some really high level stuff with, oh wow, look at that, incredible MM2. What a beautiful boost into that strat. That is sweet. I love it. Holy smokes, incredible stuff from MM2 there. As couldn't have been better timed.
Yeah, these strats are so tough. You're basically trying to go through an area where you're supposed to have no movement items with all the movement items, so yeah, trying to fit through all these awkward spaces, it's tough.
Normally, it's the commentary crew trying to make the runners look good. By accident, there, it was the runner making the commentary crew looking good. Just couldn't have timed that more perfectly. I can assure you that was not in the script, folks. But MM2 doing me a solid there. Thank you, bud. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the incredible things to me is this run is not going to be all that far behind the 100% runs that we just saw a moment ago. And this is done, I mean, for the cost of 2 item fanfares, you have to go through some pretty wild and very slow and time-consuming stuff. The fact that you can finish this run faster than a bunch of people can actually finish 100% with both suits is pretty incredible to me. So huge shout outs to MM2 for executing so cleanly throughout the course of this beautiful showcase. Well, MGA, we're looking at the schedule ahead. What part of this schedule coming up are you the most excited about? Are you down for these low percent races? Are you excited to see a bunch of power bombs knock out Croc's tongue? What's got you really excited for the rest of the schedule today?
I mean, to be honest, all of these runs look very interesting to watch. I haven't seen Open Doors yet, so I actually am super excited to see how the routing works out for that. Kill Croc's Tongue is such a great run to showcase off a lot of the obscure glitches that you wouldn't really see it in most categories. But I do know for the low percent, 14% ice race, all the runners have been grinding really hard to get real top times, so that's going to be a very close race for all the runners. So I actually think that's probably going to be the closest race we're going to see out of any in this marathon.
Yeah, that's a great point. We've got, I mean, long time stalwart in the low percent ice leaderboards is Kip. I think really, I don't think he would disagree as saying that that's really his signature when it comes to vanilla speedrunning. And of course, very exciting for everyone to see Kip sort of come out of quote unquote retirement for for this race. But we've got 3 other incredible runners. I won't spoil too much of it, but as you pointed out, Scotty Simo and Memes have all been posting PB after PB, bringing their times down. All of them, really knocking on the door of like 49. Like it's just incredibly good times, right? I mean, you're talking about some folks that can finish the game with almost no items in just record-setting times. That's going to be great. We've got Sloters and Glove on commentary, and then right after that, the 2 Japanese legends, Hyposatori and Sasreem, going to be going at it in low percent speed. With Zosti and Stachio on commentary. I mean, the day just gets better and better. I know people are really excited about March Madness this time of year, and I normally am too. But holy smokes, I can't turn my eyes away from the Super Metroid speedrunning and showcase action today. There's nothing like it. This is a special event. We don't get to do it very often. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the cool things that are coming up in store. GG, not forgetting Fantoon. A little bit harder to forget it in this category, since you haven't actually done any of this yet in this particular route with Fantoon being last. Oh, just missing the X-ray. What a nasty space ghost. Oh, bailing us out with the fast pattern second round, though. Thank you, Fantoon.
Yeah, I think that was a fast, right? So pretty good luck so far with the Fantoons.
Fantoon's so excited about this 30 years of speed, just trying to stay on screen a little bit longer to get a glimpse of the awesomeness that is MM2nescartridge. And who could blame him? I'd want to stay around a little longer for that too, but we have to say goodbye to our good buddy Fanny. That's okay. He'll be back though. I have a feeling, maybe with a vengeance later on today. There's my super long play commentator's curse.
Yeah, holding out for the long haul, huh?
That's right. That's right. I knew I was going to be in early in the comm booth, so I needed to make sure to get in everything that I could now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I wish my best to everyone coming up, all of these racers and runners who are putting on this show for us. All right, MGA. I've been holding out on this one until this last little bit of the cleanup. And I don't want to look too far past this year because we're just in the early stages of this 30 years of speed event. But I'd like to propose an idea for the 31-year anniversary of Metroid. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, after the last year, GT Classic has been a little quiet. The last time that folks were running it, Behemoth brought down the record to, what was it, a 32 1x? Very close time. I propose that we have one of these Quest to 31 or First to 31 marathons, and we recruit all the top runners to go for an all-day showcase. At the 31st anniversary, everyone is going to grind for that 31 GT Classic time. I don't know if I could manifest that, but this is sort of on my wish list when I was thinking about what we could do for 31 years.
You know, that's actually a great idea. I would be super interested in seeing that. And with all the top runners grinding for a 31, I mean, I feel it's bound to happen. It's got to happen.
I mean, I feel like it's right there, right? And the movement and tech continues to improve. And you know, when we saw that first 32, I think was from Ruya. Forgive me if that's mistaken, but I think it was Ruya with the first 32. I thought, gosh, I don't know, is that the last minute barrier? And then Behemoth came in and got that 31. We'll see, of course, Firebat showcase that beautiful category a little bit later today. Yeah, it's a 32 1x. I'd have to check the leaderboards. But it's right there, and it just occurred to me when I was looking through the schedule. It's like, oh man, 31's pretty close. Two Cries shaves off a chunk. You know, there's a good reason to think that 31 is possible, and what better place to do it than at the 31 years of speed? But I'm just sort of wish casting a little bit here, but I just thought that would be something fun to bring up.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's a great idea. We better do that. Now I'm gonna be harping on you to make that happen, or I don't know, I'll be disappointed.
Thanks for the correction there. It was Overfiend with the first 32. Apologies for that. Yeah, I didn't have that in my notes. I've got too many mm2nescartridge quotes in here. And unfortunately, the leaderboards for GTC just fell off onto the second page, but I got chat to back me up.
Ooh, wow, that was actually a great sky missile strat I saw from MM2. He got a bunch of speed coming into the room and then just space jumped, weaved through some platforms and got up to that missile. That was very well executed.
Yeah, it's kind of like a small version of baby shampoo, I guess, right? Which is what you see in Mappo. Just sort of less speed involved in that, but it was pretty smooth.
So actually, what's interesting here is MM2 is actually going to have to try to skip Gravity Suit, even though we're going to walk basically right past it. And it is possible to accidentally grab it. So there is a small chance this run might be invalidated, but you know, I'm not trying to commentator's curse or anything, just trying to point that out.
I think if you grab Gravity by accident, you're required to go pick up Varia and just make it 100% run. Or you could make it a true max percent run, and you could then go do the GT code and keep this going, keep this ship riding for a little bit longer.
Oh, true. Yeah, if we did do GT code though, you would have less percentage, not more. And you couldn't go back to collect the items because they're already gone. Very nicely done using a missile.
Yeah, huge strat there. Huge strat getting over that
Huge.
gravity suit.
Run validated. Now there's no way this run can fail now. It's destined for victory.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Zenny pointing out the frame perfect beam shot grab skip. The little run through gravity that people fear when they're running like PRKD or something like that. It's just running through that gravity suit. That would be a very memey way to finish off the item collection here.
Yeah. That would be actually interesting to test that out and see if there's a way to make that consistent. So that would be a great meme for sure.
Well, it would probably save quite a bit of time in the next room, right? Because you'd have a bunch of run speed.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true.
For to space jump across to ocean missiles. Oh, really, really nicely done with those really small little taps on the space jump there to get across this room so quickly. And here's what we were talking about earlier as a result of the routing decision with that KDRB boss order. MM2 doing this gauntlet cleanup last. You saw that angled down shot to the right. That opened this door, as I mentioned earlier, with those off-screen copies of the room. Managed to wrap around and hit that door that's on the left side from the other side. Shine Spark all the way through, and then pick up these last couple items here in the backside of Gauntlet. Yeah, this section a little bit trickier, especially without gravity. Anytime you touch that acid, you just get really gobbled up. And nice and safe down here, making sure we get all those crumbles broken. We can pick up these last two. And that's it. We're off on our way to Turian. We'll have a little bit of a break there. Maybe previewing again a little bit for RBO later, but what are we going to see that might be a little bit different from your traditional Turian here, MGA? Because it is a little bit different without these suits. So what do we need to be looking out for?
Mostly the issue is going to come from Metroid 1. I believe with Space Jump and Plasma, the rest of the rooms are going to be roughly the same. Metroid Run, we're going to have to do a little bit of, messing around since we can't actually touch the lava, and most strats kind of run through the lava a little bit. I'm not sure what MM2 strat for M1 is, but yeah, you can go ahead and break that down.
I don't actually remember, and actually I believe that in the world record that I most recently was studying, M1 actually may not have gone particularly well. I've got to think that it's pretty similar to what you'd expect in RBO.
Yeah.
Zenny M1.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Who needs the commentator crew when you've got the runner there to bail you out? That's twice now, and MM2's got my back.
Yeah, RBO and Max Suitless at this point in Turian are going to be exactly the same, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
wow, nice super drops. Holy smokes, that was kind of nutty.
The Metroids still are very tough to execute optimally. It's probably arguably the hardest part about 100% in any category with a lot of movement items. Ooh, but that was a great M3 from him too.
Mm-hmm. That is a healthy super count at this point. Really, really nice. Yeah, those drops are pretty nuts. I think I saw the second Metroid in M1 drop something like 4 supers or so. It was pretty wild drops. Really nice. MM2 ROM, yeah. Right, setting up for this baby skip here. Standard counterclockwise baby skip. One extra shot here to clear away that seaweed. Nicely done. Great skip. Nice retro skip there from MM2. And one final save here. Just adding a little bit of safety. Well, folks, if you're just coming in now, I encourage you to go back and watch the VOD when it is posted to YouTube, which will take a couple days there. But holy smokes, did we see a showcase today? Moon Dance, a bunch of hell runs, early X-ray deboosts, glitched mode with X-ray called R mode, suitless climbs and grapple jumps. Through all of Meridia. We had some incredible backups from MM2. The two I can think of, maybe MG, I'm not sure if I missed any. The two I can really think of are after that really rough Upper Norfair hell run where we had that really beautiful save with the pause abuse from MM2. And then we also had that really clutch backup in the Mama Turtle room. Those are the two that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, no, those are really good backups, and it kind of shows how great of a runner MM2 is. To be able to come up with backups like that just on the fly, it's, takes a lot of skill and experience.
Yep. And then, of course, the actual hard tricks, the R mode, totally nailed it. That R jump, that angle cancel jump to get the spring ball was flawless. It's about as easy as you can do that room. And then, of course, the really, really nice underwater wall jumps at a couple different stages that were just about flawless. This is not that far off the world record time. This is probably going to still be, it's still the second best time on the leaderboard. I don't know how it stacks up to some of MM2's other runs, but this was with a lot of safety saves too, just for the purposes of this marathon. And MM2 just needed the one after Dragon, so this is really, really high-level execution here that we got to see here. Beautiful, really showcase from mm2nescartridge. All right, we're going to go for the stand-up manipulation here. And look at that neck come back nice and easy, and the quick sit-down. Excellent stuff there from MM2. Yeah, I think as Chad is pointing out, maybe sometimes we're a little bit hard on ourselves, but I don't know, hard to be upset with this run in a showcase. In a showcase. Good old shoecase, 98% in a shoecase. Couldn't fit those extra 2%. Gravity and Varia wouldn't fit in a shoecase, so we just needed to go without them. Surprise us, oh boy. Are we gonna get a save or a kill here? I didn't even know, we don't have any incentives or anything. MM2 just gonna play with us a little bit. We'll see what he decides to do.
We'll see.
Well, either way, I know that Zenny's going to run a little ad break here, so some folks are going to phase out for just a minute, but I did want to take this opportunity one more time just to thank Zenny and Sassy and everyone who helped put this on. This has been really fun commentating this excellent run with you, MGA, and I wanted to remind people as well that we have our open doors, 138%, really interesting category. I also don't know this run very well, so I'm looking forward to commentary from Idle. And we'll have actually one of our other top 98% suitless runners, Kaizenton, is going to be doing that run just here in a minute. So the action is going to continue just in a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to thank you, MGA. It's been a lot of fun. We got to see some awesome stuff. It's always a pleasure to be in the commentary booth together. So appreciate you doing this with me, especially right after your 100% race.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I love commentating, especially with, some of my favorite runners like you. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh yeah, MM2 doing a couple of Mappo strats there in the escape.
All right, so we got the save. Tried for the taunt, just went for the save. That's all right. You know, the only way that this could have been any better is if we also freed the Decora. Then all the animals would be happy. I mean, I guess you free the Decora in a manner of speaking at the end, but it's not the same. How does it even get out? All right, get your GGs in chat, folks. Huge GGs to MM2. Excellently done, excellently executed, and already got a shout out from this from Hockey in the previous run, but no better way to describe this than poetry in motion. It was a beautiful run. Excellently done, MM2. Really, really nice stuff. All right, folks, we have one last hurdle to overcome. We just got to make sure that we see that 98%. Validate this beautiful showcase run. We'll pop into a little ad break, and then we'll have you back in just a short time after that for 138%. So fill up your coffee, fill up your soda, grab a snack, and yeah, get ready for a beautiful day of Super Metroid speedrunning here at 30 Years of Speed. All right, folks, we're waiting here in rapt anticipation. This is gonna be it. Get your Deer Forces in chat. Huge shout outs to Deer Force as we celebrate this 30 years of speed event. We're gonna close it out here. I had the first word coming in. As this 98% rolls on the screen, MGA, I'm gonna give you the last word on the way out, and thank you one more time for an excellent day of commentary. Can't wait to see what's next. MGA, take us away.
Yeah, well, this was really fun. I really appreciate you, Prof, coming with me. Great showcase run by MM2. And thanks to Zenny for setting this whole thing up. It's been a lot of fun so far. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the marathon run. So we'll see you all next mission.